How's it going? Welcome to Sunny Sheets. I'm Carson.
Oh, I'm Paige.
And this is our first video. We're just two people who love reading books and think we're going to start our channel off with a Newbie Tag. It's a pretty typical first video to make. It's basically just a bunch of questions that we're going to answer to spark up a conversation about what we read, what we like reading. And the first question, why did we start the channel? I mean, I've been watching a lot of booktubers for a while, and I find the conversations really fun. I've found a lot of book recommendations, sort of listened to what different people like in books, and I just thought it'd be fun to start a channel where where we can put our voices out there. I mean, and particularly for me, I don't really have anyone in my life who really reads much that I can talk about like sci-fi and like the kind of books that I'm into. You kind of have some of those people. You kind of have friends that read similar books to you.
I'm like on the book talk girly side. So I mean, shout out my best guy, the shirt I'm wearing right now. But there's like girls that I know, like my sister and friends that read what I read more.
Also, starting a YouTube channel, big one for me. I mean, I don't really have any speaking or anything like that in my work, so this is a way to sort of help me learn to speak better. Talking like slowly and not stuttering and just trying to improve at speaking as well. That's kind of another thing. So fun and unique things our channel brings to BookTube. I think it'd be really cool that there's two of us with completely different
It's cool that there's two of us.
Yeah, to bring two different perspectives. So we'll have some videos where it's both of us, where it's kind of a more general topic that we can both talk about. And then separately for book reviews, I'll just be doing my own book reviews and she might drop her own. So you're kind of just getting two completely different tastes of books and videos. Like I might drop something, she'll drop something.
Because like you said, you like sci-fi and a little bit more just general fiction than I do.
Yeah.
Or like thrillers. I read romance, fantasy romance, or romantasy more often. I mean, I have read other ones. I love The Art of Racing in the Rain because I'm also a Formula One girly. But so there's two different sides of BookTube going, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a decent variety between the two of us for people to check out. So, and I think another tiny little fun thing I want to do, so I'm going to talk about this a lot more in a different video, but I have a journal where I keep a bunch of book excerpts that I sort of copy down. And I thought it'd be fun, maybe at the end of every video, I just read one, just for fun. Ensuring that it's spoiler free. I won't ever read something that will spoil a book, but
or if you do, there'll be a spoiler notice.
Yes, of course. So, what are we most excited for about this channel?
I like talking about books, and I really like my bookshelf. So I'm actually pretty excited to show off my bookshelf. It's not amazing. I mean, it's like a Billy bookcase and a half, so it's not like I have this wall of books. I think it's really cool, so I'm excited to just show that off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, one, to just kind of get my voice out there and talk about my opinions on books and things I like, and to kind of to add to that, I hope to have some interaction like with people. Hopefully, getting my voice out will lead to some comments and like lead to some discussion and like talking about books, which I'm excited for. And it's something for us to kind of do together. But reading is kind of an independent activity. And also her and I read very different books. So this is kind of a way to tie in our reading into kind of a project or something for us to do together. So that's fun.
I'm going to get you to read a romance book.
I need to. One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns.
That's an easy romance to read because there's not really explicit scenes.
You're saying I need to read like a romance.
Oh, you need to read a steamy romance, I think too. That would be
I'm not
funny.
fully opposed. It's not my favorite thing, but I'm not like I'm pretty curious about like lots of different types of books, so I definitely
He's just being nice.
I need to. Why do we love reading?
I think my favorite part of reading is when you forget that you're reading. Like when you have like a movie going on in your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people can't do that. They can't picture things in their head. Even authors. I think Alex Astor, she wrote Lightlark, said she can't do that. But that's my favorite part, is when you kind of forget their words on a page and you're reading. It's like you're watching a movie in your head. And you get so invested that you're a little sad. Like you get in a book slump after a book. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite parts about reading. It's just, it's like I'm watching a TV show. And I love drama. I love the drama and the romance of it all.
It's not just a hobby, but it's kind of a ritual. It's a thing where we, go to a bookstore and we're looking around and getting physical books. I mean, I love reading because I work a tech job and I also play video games. So I'm looking at screens a lot during the day. And so I really have been trying to be intentional about having less screen time. And I like video games in my job. So reading is a way to kind of retain and like read stories, or like absorb stories that's like not TV and movies.
Oh, here's a poodle.
Oh, guest appearance.
There's one right in front of us too on the ground you can't see, but
he's laying down.
This one's more needy.
So next question, what books or series got us into reading?
Oh, that's an
easy one for me.
Okay, you go first.
I was reading a few STEM and like self-help books every now and then.
Lame.
During college, but I would say I actually started reading when I started. You probably can't see them. I'll do a whole bookshelf tour at some point. But the Avatar novels.
Remember when you got those?
Paige has been a big fantasy reader years before I was, and she was the one that sort of inspired me to start reading in the first place. And Avatar is my favorite IP, like of all time. And so when I was sort of deciding whether or not I wanted to start reading fantasy books, that was a real obvious place for me to start, was just the Avatar novels, and they're banging. Those books are so good. So yeah, the Avatar books.
I obviously read when I was little. We actually, remember my mom bought my sister and I Kindles, and I remember reading in the car as best as I could without getting nauseous. But I would say the first series I remember being obsessed with it started when I was in 6th grade. I read it. 6th or 7th grade. You're going to laugh because you already know the answer. The Michael Vey series. But I read that up until freshman or sophomore year of high school. And I stopped for a little bit because in high school there's so much other stuff you want to do besides reading. You're in band and stuff, and I just got busy. But then in college, I picked up, actually, I know it's a YA, but the Crave series by Tracy Wolff, I picked that up again. And then I got into reading Shatter Me. I started reading YA again for some reason. And then after reading both of those series, someone recommended ACOTAR, and I tried ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I tried it, put it back down, and then picked it back up again because the beginning of that series, you gotta get through the first one to get to the second one. That was a long-winded answer. I think originally Michael Vey. The second time around would be Crave, for sure. It's like one of those books that you're not really there because it's the most amazing book ever. You're there for the vibes.
What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? This one really stands out to me because he has very different tastes than just about all the booktubers that I watch and in my personal taste. But Christopher Russell, I would ask him for a nonfiction book recommendation, and I would ask him if he'd ever read a fantasy book because he's hard against fiction. He does not like fiction. He kind of just reads the classics and like nonfiction literature. So I'd be curious if he'd ever read just like a straight up fantasy. And I would ask him for a recommendation. Yeah.
I have some people I follow on BookTube and Bookstagram. Is it called Bookstagram?
I have no idea.
Books on Instagram.
Bookgram?
I think it's probably Book Talk, but I don't really watch TikTok that much. I have like girls I follow that I really like to watch, but I can't think of any of their names right now. Shout out to y'all. But I think mine is more generic, just more. I'm always curious how fast people are to DNF a book. Like, I will DNF if the vibes aren't there. If I'm not excited to pick my book up, I'll put it down and pick it up another time, but I'll also sometimes never come back to it. So I'm curious as to what it takes for other people, other booktube people or book talk that read a lot, how quickly are they to DNF? That's my question.
That's an interesting question because, like, I know some people are like, I don't DNF books. I will finish them, and it's more satisfying for them to finish like a book that they really didn't like. Some people say that, oh, you got to give it 30% of the book or whatnot. I've only like decided to DNF one book, and that was 30 pages in, just because the dialogue was not my cup of tea. I knew I was not going to like that book. So, all right. So the next question: the hardest challenges to overcome with this channel. I mean, this channel is really kind of a hobby for us, so we don't really have any sort of set goals. We're not trying to crunch any numbers or anything. So we're kind of treating this more as a hobby, not like we have some dead set goals and metrics we're trying to meet or anything. But
I don't know challenges.
I would just say the talking, really. Just making sure that I can, kind of like I mentioned earlier, that I can talk for an extended amount of time without stuttering and without filling in a bunch of filler words like
filling in a bunch of filler words.
Yeah,
example.
Point proven. I mean, yeah. So, next question.
When did you start reading?
Yeah.
When I was in middle school, elementary or middle. I mean, I had read all of the popular dystopian books that were coming out around that time in middle school.
Shout out
Hunger
to the Maze
Games.
Runner.
True. Right, Hunger Games and Divergent and when Twilight was the thing, all those, when those books were coming out. I read all those when I first had my Kindle to go around. My sister was more of the reader back then. She definitely is now, but she was the one reading more. I'm gonna, for a simple answer, this time around, 2020? Yeah. 2020, around August of 2020, when the semester of college started back up again. That's, I think, when I started reading.
That's a lot easier for me to answer. It was really like the beginning of last year. I mean, I had mentioned that kind of halfway into college, I started picking up little, like, just standalone self-helpy books. But when I got the Avatar series was really when I started, like, that's when I consider when I actually became like a reader as a hobby, and I was full on reading like fantasy books and novels and kind of constantly having a book I was reading. So yeah, I'd say the start of last year.
Like reading this time around and actually reading a lot.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All right, the next one. Where do you read? Anywhere and everywhere.
There's a chair. That's our
where the
dog
dog
is sitting
on.
in that chair. That's my favorite reading spot. I also read on our porch and sometimes in our bed.
Yeah, I read anywhere. I mean, I actually take my book with me to work and read during lunch. I also read on the porch, sitting on the couch before I leave for work, laying in the bed, sometimes while standing if I'm doing something. I don't know. I don't often sit in the Papasan as much. I'm getting cozy on the couch kind of vibe.
The couch, yes, that's a huge one for us. The couch.
I love a good bath, so I will read in the bath. Yeah, that's kind of where I read. Yeah. I mean, anywhere and everywhere. I've read in my car during traffic before, in Austin traffic. We don't live near Austin, but I've had to drive up there, and I definitely have read in that traffic before.
We're in Texas, if the folks don't know what that is.
Austin, Texas. I mean, come on. Come on. What kind of books do you like to read?
Let me go first?
Yes.
I mean, I primarily read fiction. I read a lot of fantasy, sci-fi, and some horror and thriller books. And other than that, for enjoyment, I've been making my way a little bit through some Eastern religion and some philosophical books. Like a little bit, not much, but trying to fit in some books like that too. So.
I am a book girly, so I stay reading romance, fantasy. Let me think. Obviously, I'm wearing Buzz Guyeth shirt, so I love Fourth Wing. Elsie Silver, I love. Been reading another author. Shoot, can't think of who it is. But I say I
Allie Hazelwood?
Oh, I love Bride and,
Drowned? Wait, no.
Drowned?
Deep End.
Deep End. Not Drowned. That's not how the story ends. So I love those. And then Fourth Wing, ACOTAR, Zodiac Academy. I love Zodiac Academy. So But there's a lot of in between there. That's kind of my genres. Any talk book I probably have read, whether I like it or not, different story. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of the questions. So if you stuck it all the way to the end, thanks for listening.
Shout out you.
So this was our first video, and we're excited to make more. So we will see y'all in the next video.
Yes.
Peace out.
Zeppi, Serrano, come here. Oh. There's one. This is Serrano. Zeppi, stand up. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, there's a
There's
big boy.
the poodles.